It says, "Hi, your files are encrypted.
We recommend that you move away from the computer.
Even God will not be able to help you."
It was scary, and it took me into a whole world that I didn't know about.
A criminal gang of hackers ruthlessly extorting companies and institutions around the world.
This is the biggest ransomware investigation that I've worked on in my career.
The short clip that you just watched just now is from the documentary produced by the Fifth Estate. My name is Nur Hanani binti Rosli. Today I will be presenting my case study for UCS422 titled Tracking a Hacker Who's Extorted Millions Through Ransomware Attacks, based on documentary by the Fifth Estate. This documentary focused on the network ransomware network and the investigation that led to the arrest of one of its most active affiliates. The case demonstrates how ransomware has evolved into a global criminal business, especially through the ransomware as a service model. In my presentation, I will explain how the attacks were carried out, how the hacker was identified and arrested, and what lessons we can learn from this case in terms of cybersecurity. What is Networker? Networker is a ransomware group that operates using a ransomware as a service or RAS model. This means the developers do not carry out the attacks themselves. Instead, they recruit affiliates who use the ransomware to attack victims, and they share the profits. Because of this, Networker grew very quickly and became one of the most dangerous ransomware groups during the COVID-19 period, when many organizations were vulnerable. Next, let's talk about the primary hacker in this case. The main individual involved in this case is Sebastian Barco Desjardins. He was a Canadian IT specialist and former government employee. Despite having a stable job, he turned to cybercrime for financial gain and become one of Networker's top earners. Over the course of his crime, he extorted more than 21 million US dollars from organizations around the world. He targeted victims in over 13 countries, showing how global and widespread these attacks were. How the attack was launched? One of the reasons Network was so effective is because of double extortion technique. First, the attacker encrypts the organization file and demands a ransomware in exchange for the decryption key. Second, before the encryption happens, the attacker steals sensitive information and threatens to publish it if the ransom is not paid. This makes the victim feel pressure from both sides. They need their data back, and they also want to prevent confidential information from leaking online. Undoubtedly, a lot of them pay the demanded ransom. And let's go to the what is the technique used by the hacker. The attacks usually begin with spear phishing emails designed to trick employees into clicking malicious links or downloading harmful attachments. In other cases, the hacker exploited vulnerabilities such as unpatched system. Once inside the network, he moved quietly through the system, identifying the most valuable data. Only when he controlled the entire network did he deploy the ransomware across all devices. Who is being targeted? Networker targets organizations that were likely to pay ransomware included high-value institutions such as healthcare facility, government agency, research university, and large company with a minimum annual revenue of around 30 million. One of the most high-profile victims was the University of California, San Francisco, which paid over 1 million US dollars to recover its research data during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, some companies like Amicon were able to recover without paying because they had strong offline backup system. This shows how important preparation is. The investigation took a major turn when a telecom company in Tampa, Florida was attacked. During the forensic analysis, the investigator found an important IP address that had not been fully analyzed. Even though the IP was routed through servers in Poland, photo tracing eventually linked the activity to a house in Gatun, Quebec, belonging to Vacon Desjardins. This was the real first evidence connecting him to the network attacks. Once they identified the suspect, law enforcement agencies worked together to plan a coordinated arrest. On January 27, 2021, the RCMP raided Falconverse Just Jardins home in Canada, where Bulgarian authorities seized the main network server that hosted stolen victim data. During the raid, officers found hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, cryptocurrency wallets, and detailed record of the attacks. The seizure of the network server completely disrupted the ransomware operation and prevented more organizations from being attacked. After his arrest, Welcome Discharging was first charged in Canada, then extradited to the United States where he was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. In conclusion, the network case shows how dangerous ransomware has become and how it can affect even large, well-resourced organizations. It also teaches us that strong cybersecurity practices are essential in preventing ransomware damage and attack. Thank you.